Hi, friends. Do us and yourselves a favor and check out our affiliate, Three Spirit Drinks. They create plant-based, non-alcoholic elixirs that are cruelty-free and vegan, and they are designed to give you some of the benefits of alcohol without the hangover and other side effects. If you're looking to cut down on alcohol but still want the buzz, check them out. The link is us.threespiritdrinks.com and use the promo code TheActivityContinues for 15% off your entire order.
Hi, Ghosty fam. Megan here. Welcome to The Activity Continues, a podcast where three friends and soul sisters recap episodes of the TV show The Dead Files and talk about other creepy shit as well, such as TikToks or shows we're watching or dreams we've had or, anything that we think of. One never knows what's going to come out of these mouths.
So true. Thanks for joining us again. This week, we are discussing the Dead Files episode called Imprisoned. It's a new episode from season 15, and it originally aired just a couple days ago, just yesterday, for us in our time on September 28th, 2023. And so the synopsis is Shanna and John saved for years to buy a brand new house in a neighborhood they could call home in Arizona. But a darkness has jeopardized their relationship, their sanity, and their safety. With the marriage on the verge of collapse, Shanna calls out to Cindy and Steve for answers.
Which is such a weird way of phrasing that. Like, I feel like she's standing at in front of her door going, Steve, Cindy, can you come help me? And Steve pokes his head out the window. He's like, I'm coming.
I'll be there in a minute.
No, it's actually, he detects it on his ring.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
He gets ringed.
He's
ring
like,
him
my
up.
ring is acting up. What's going on?
Must be
It's like
Shanna
the bat
and
signal.
John.
It's like the bat signal.
Yeah.
I got something coming too. What do you got?
I'm dying.
Oh,
And the ring goes beep, 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 beep.
that'd be cool.
What's that ring? Shannon, John, you're in the well. Just kidding. That's a Lassie turn.
Thanks, Lassie.
Oh, God. Okay, so please say hello to Amy P, aka AP. She's got some spoiler alerts and content warnings for you.
Hello, hello. Yes, if you have not watched the show and don't like spoilers, go back, watch a different episode, and come on back or listen, I suppose, if you're not watching.
That was my rewind, by the way.
Thank you for that. I needed it.
I like it.
And make sure to go watch this episode, then come back for our recap. And then you can argue with us as we are talking through this the whole time, too.
Yeah. And who knows? Maybe we'll end up bringing you on because that's all Amy did. And we were like, you know what, Amy? Why don't you just argue with us in person?
It's true. It's kind of true.
It worked out well.
Amy never argues with us. She's very sweet.
Well, no, thanks. I don't know what to say now.
She's all flummoxed.
When in doubt, say thanks.
Someone put a quarterback in me. I need to go. So serious stuff. There is content warnings. I will say this is probably one of the more in-depth content warnings that we should pay attention to. So there is sexual assaults, murder, I would argue torture and murder, child abduction, sexual assault,
of children.
Yes. Also probably abuse of children, which we'll get into a little bit. That was not covered in the show.
Great.
Reproductive challenges are talked about significantly by Cindy, and content warning of another portal.
I know. I heard her talk about the portal and I was like, we got a portal.
Yep. And I did the same when they were talking about how they were going to fight. And I texted at the group and I said, we got a fighter.
There's always a fighter. Okay, great.
Yeah, there's a few things that are scripted or feel like they're scripted because they're always in an episode.
What? Steve had so many of them in this one. It was driving me nuts.
I know.
Okay, well, let's get
Yes.
started. So just to make sure you know we're listening to the right one, or what? That you're listening. What? No.
What?
Never mind.
What's going on? You guys, we are
I don't know.
5 minutes into this recording. And so far, both Amy's have broken.
It's been a long week.
I'm the one holding us together.
Oh,
This is not good.
it's not good. Okay.
We're off
so-
the rails before we've even left the station.
I know.
So
all
good with the
I was
metaphors
trying
today.
to say is to make sure that that as you're listening, listeners, that this is the one we're talking about when we say it is in Florence, Arizona,
Mm-hmm.
and the clients are Shanna and John, who's her husband.
Mm-hmm.
Although Steve pronounces her name Shauna.
Yes.
I think that's just Brooklyn.
Yeah, I think so, because later on when he was saying who somebody was, I wrote down Shaw
Yes.
because I
Yep.
thought he said Shaw, but the person's name was Shore.
I will say I caught on a couple other ones and I didn't write them down, but it really seemed like his accent came out super thick. So
Yes.
maybe
Oh,
he
it
was
did.
back. Maybe he
Yeah.
was back home visiting family or something,
Oh,
I think-
yeah.
or
yeah.
back where he grew up and stuff. And you know how I lived in Kansas for 10 months, and when I was there, I ran into one other person from Minnesota, and we got the drop dead gorgeous Fargo accent coming out. Like,
sure.
oh yeah, don't you know? Yeah, sure, you betcha.
Mhm.
And
Uh-huh.
you know,
When
all of that.
When
Yeah.
I lived in the Middle East and I would talk to my mom on the phone and then I'd hang up, it was, mom, and oh
Mhm.
gosh, mom, oh
Yeah.
gosh, oh sure, oh for
Yes.
cute, oh good, yeah, you'll bet, yeah, it really comes out. So that's probably what it was. Because
Yeah.
I noticed that too. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, Steve, you're really coming in with the Brooklyn.
Yeah. I noticed that too. Okay, so the client who lives there is Shanna, her husband John, her cousin Mary, and her
Mhm.
2 kids, Chloe, who's 13, and Aiden, who's 16.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We don't see Mary in this episode though.
No,
No,
we
and
don't.
you know, we've talked to a couple people where they've had other family members interviewed, and then they're just not in the show. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
is that what happened? You know, it just seemed interesting to me that she allowed her kids to do it, but then she
Mhm.
wasn't in it. So
Mhm.
I'm guessing she was probably cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
And
could
she's
be.
probably sitting there like, this is my big break. And then they cut her.
Mm-hmm.
On the cutting room floor.
Oh, son
That
of a
sucks.
bitch. I hate when that happens.
I
Well, and
know.
when this one opened up, I thought this was really interesting because Cindy, right off the bat, goes, something's wrong with, or something's off with this
Mhm.
house. But really, this wall, like this barrier that they built
Yep.
around the house, I want to smash it. And then we never talk about it again.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
she's even like, yeah, this wall, I bet a lot of stuff started happening when this wall went up.
Huh?
Mhm.
And then nothing again.
I
Yeah.
also noticed in the drone footage of how tightly packed those houses are on top of each other.
Yes,
And I wrote
noticed that
drone
too.
footage. We're finally using it.
They're really getting their money's worth.
Oh my God.
You had to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one was a definitely like you could touch the 2 walls on either
Mhm.
side of the
Yeah.
outside walls of the houses.
Yeah, that was really tight.
And just
That's what she said. Sorry. Hope your
Oh.
kids aren't listening.
I just wanted to mention the experiences they're having are creepy sounds, seeing things. They're
Mhm.
physically drained and mood changes.
Mhm.
And then later on, she brings up that
The essay.
sexual,
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
assault, ghostly sexual assault.
Yeah.
So,
This question seems to have been dropped out of the script over the last several episodes of, well, are you like this away from the house?
But he did ask the kid that last week.
Yes. He asked one of them that
Yeah.
last week. But yeah,
Mhm.
that always seems to be one of those things because they almost always come up and
Mhm.
no, I'm not like this when I'm
mhm.
at work or anything. It's
Yeah.
when I come home, I get that
Right.
drained feeling, or again,
I get rage
probably
or,
cut.
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So then my
Mhm.
next note was that, as we have touched on briefly, every time lately, Steve is like, I'm driving up to this beautiful home in this beautiful neighborhood. and like, oh, and then I can't believe how bad it is inside your house.
Mhm.
I'm like, you got to get a new act, Steve.
Right.
That's a little
Also,
bit.
And we're not
repetitive.
just talking about saving the house. We're talking about saving
Saving
the
Yes.
marriage.
I know. Ugh.
And like
And
the
then-
thing is, it kind of in my mind, it perpetuates that, well, this is such a nice neighborhood. Crime can't happen here.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it can. And like, just because you live in a nice neighborhood, does that mean that you can't be haunted?
Right.
Mhm.
It's just stupid, Steven.
Steven.
Yeah.
Well, and like I wrote in my notes, I thought the writers were on strike now, not back then. Because that's some pretty lazy ass writing to do
well,
the
it's-
same
Wait,
thing.
what
for
should we
every
say? What
episode.
should we say? Could they, some about the marriage? They're going to save the marriage. Bingo.
Yep.
I know. Let's just do the exact same thing we've done for the last 7 episodes.
I
Yeah.
literally
Let's
wrote
just do that.
down, like, this is getting so tired. Is this what we're
Yes.
using to create drama on the show
Mhm.
constantly?
Yeah.
Like, there's other stuff that's going on, but maybe is there that desperation of a hook?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously we know that
can't
there's
leave.
an audience out there, but is there just this like, well, if we want the show to continue, we have to show how dramatic and
Yes.
life-saving this is. And it, not saying that it's not, but
No, we're not diminishing their experience at
No.
all, but it's like, I agree. I think they're trying to amp up the drama more.
and
like,
always we
like
sunk
even-
everything into this
Mhm.
house. It's our dream house. How many times have we, even at the end of this episode, we
take
hear
a shot
their
when they say it's a
dream
dream
house.
house.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree.
Seriously.
It's, if everything's a dream house, Steve, they can't all be, it's just like, can we get, we're not saying that what they're going through isn't,
No.
life altering and it's not traumatic, but it's like, even if it's that concept, let's maybe say it differently,
Yeah.
like
not
I'm
using the
just
same words and
not using
phrases
the
every
same
episode.
sentence every. So if we can't help her, then their marriage won't survive.
Yeah. And I also put
Also,
like,
I'm really working on my Brooklyn accent.
I can tell. I can
yep.
tell.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. Stand
I
in front
put
of
in
the
here that,
mirror.
yeah, when Shanna said, we sunk everything into the house, we can't leave. But seriously, have they interviewed who can just pick up
Right.
and leave? Like, it's not,
It's not
we all-
easy.
yes, we all
Right.
Get it.
understand that aspect.
But
Yep.
also when they say like we can't afford it, I mean, when you sell a house, you generally get money, and then you use that money to buy another house.
To buy the,
Yes, the equity
that's
that
how,
you have,
yeah,
yeah.
that's how, yeah. We are all, God, we're so smart. God, it just amazes me.
We just throw out words that make us sound really smart.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell
Just
him, Amy.
Because I have one that I'm going to throw out now too.
Okay.
Magnanimous.
That was a good one that you
Thank
used.
you.
But Steve was incredulous
Mm.
about
Nice.
dirt. He said it like four
This was
times.
just
4 or
dirt.
5 times.
This was just
what was this?
dirt.
Just dirt before? Like this was dirt before. You could see in this picture it was just dirt. It's like,
There was nothing.
What-
Yeah,
what you think was
Steve,
it was.
that's how
Sorry,
the
my
earth
phone
is.
just dropped.
That's how most of Arizona is, or was until it's developed.
Do you understand what the earth is, Steve? Like, the earth is just dirt. Also, I think the new tagline for our podcast should be "The activity continues: learn about ghosts and increase your vocabulary."
That's a really long tagline though.
It's fine. We get paid by the letter.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Oh man.
All right. So for this next section where it says a three-humped blob, who
Yeah.
wrote that?
I did.
But I wrote it
That's-
in my notes because that's
that's
what
what they
she
called it.
said. But
Yeah.
all I could think of is the camel song. You know, the camel has 2 humps.
Two humps. Sally the camel has 2 humps.
Yep.
Sally the camel has 2 humps. Go, Sally, go.
Yes,
I
that
don't,
is
I don't know
all
this
I
one. Is that Snoop Dogg?
could. No,
That's a nursery
that's a nursery
rhyme.
rhyme.
Kidding. I used to be a preschool teacher, but it was an awful long time ago, so I don't know that one.
Oh, I'm getting an ab workout today, ladies.
I hear that every day. Super simple songs on Amazon Prime with my toddler. So
Share with your toddler.
Yep.
Yeah. You
you
listen
know what?
to it at work.
It's not like it's on after he goes to bed, and John and I are just dropping some sick beats along with it. That doesn't happen. We're like, anyways. I hope you guys are
Anyways.
watching, because then you
Yep.
could just see me
Yeah, she's
do the record change.
she's-
I don't know what they call it.
it's
Record
scratching,
scratch.
scratching.
We're so hip, guys.
I know.
We
I
are
know.
so hip.
Yeah, that was the three-humped blob was right around
The
when they were talking
elemental.
about
Yeah.
the elemental in the attic.
Mhm.
Yes, there's the elemental in the attic, and then I just laughed when I heard Shanna's description of the sounds that she hears, because she's like, it's old-timey furniture being moved across an old floor. And I'm like, I mean,
That's
I could picture
very
what she's saying, but I was like,
specific.
But
Who's-
see, I
who
can't
talks-
because what does old timey furniture entail? Like, what is that?
I think she means like heavy, like
actual,
all
like,
wood, heavy.
Yeah.
Oh.
But I picture like, what you see being carried across in the Old West in the
I'm
covered
picturing like a
wagons and that
clawfoot bathtub, just like a clawfoot tub, just reaching across. I mean, maybe I don't know.
I got the picture what she was getting, but I was like, that is a really
Yeah.
odd description, because nobody just goes, well, it sounded like old-timey furniture.
Yeah,
What does that
Furniture
mean?
doesn't make a sound all by itself.
No,
You don't
but
know.
then she did say being like dragged across a
yeah.
wood floor or an old floor or something like that. And then she made
Yeah.
some creaking, groaning sounds. So
oh, we got if the dogs. Could it be the dogs?
He said
Twice.
that like 4 times. Yeah.
yes. No, Steve, they're in the kennels at night.
They
Steve,
sleep in the kennels with
It's
the
not.
kids.
the dogs. Steve obviously
never
has
the
not
dogs.
listened to our episode.
No.
Our episode about the dogs.
Any of our episodes. Clearly, he's not taking our notes.
No, he's not. Actually, it's probably best that he
It's
doesn't know that
probably
we
is.
exist.
Especially
We
the
make fun
last
of
few
him.
episodes.
know.
Well, he makes it easy.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
we still love Steve.
We
Steve,
do.
Don't get us wrong. We still love you. It's
Don't
just-
like take
easy
a hit
to-
on us and the mafia because I'm
Yeah.
sure that you have connections. But
uh,
just, maybe get a little bit more creative, Steve. We know you can. I believe in you.
I mean, he did change up his routine of digging through the archives to searching
did.
through old records.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. See, look, proof you can grow. Although I did like digging through the archives better.
I did too.
So I'm
I
gonna
know.
stick with it.
Digging through
But-
the archives.
Dig into the archives.
I'm moving on now. I'm moving on past this conversation and going to the
Fine.
kids. Going to the kids, because I thought that it was really interesting. Chloe just made a comment like, it doesn't bother me. I've had experiences all my life.
I thought that was Aiden that said that.
Aiden also
they
said
both
he's had
said they
experiences,
had
both
experiences.
did.
but she
Oh, okay.
She said it
her quote
first.
was her like, yeah, it doesn't really bother me much. I've had experiences all my life.
Mhm. And they don't go into that at all.
Mm-mm.
Nope. Because it's the or the dead man that's coming after Aiden.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. And I bet you, or I would assume that Cindy would probably at least talk to both of them or give some guidance to both of them because
Yeah.
she seems like that type to not.
Well, especially in the reveal this time was the first time I think we've ever heard we'll need to check back in with you in 6 months.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought that was so interesting too.
And I was like, oh, Cindy, you don't know how this works. When the show is done, they don't care.
Cindy, it's cute. You care.
It's cute that you think that the show is going to
Sweetie.
Which
help
is why
people.
where we have talked about we think that Amy had some burnout from some of that too is
I know she was
offering the
upset
help.
about it. Mhm.
offering the help and trying to get her teams out there because she
Mhm.
can't get anybody else
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
to help.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But also fun news that they live very close to the first state prison or state
Yes.
penitentiary in Arizona, built in 1908 and to 1912.
Yeah.
Yep. So I found some information on it. Wasn't a ton because I
Mhm.
was at work trying to do stuff. Because
Hey,
what are you gonna do? Fire me?
Yeah, exactly.
So, and Amy, you might have got some of this too, but so it was, yeah, like you said, it was the first state prison. They started building it in 1808, finished in 1912. 80 total people were executed there.
Mhm.
And they talk about this guy a little bit later, I believe, but Willie Stellman and Douglas Gretzler were there. They were a duo who went on a murder spree. I didn't quite catch the year that they did it.
It was must have been in
73?
the 70s. Yeah.
Okay.
It was
was a-
1973.
Well, I mean,
It was a
they were in
drug-induced-
California. So,
Yeah.
I mean, who wasn't a serial killer in California in 1970s?
Yeah. Drug-induced murder.
Murder spree.
Yep.
Mhm.
So they killed 11 people total. when they were arrested, Willie told them, "Don't release me. I can't control myself," basically. So he knew like he was a psychopath.
Well, and he told him, he told when his lawyer or somebody, like, don't let them let me go.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He
Yep.
he was like, "Don't release me. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
If you let me out, I'm just going to keep doing it."
Yeah. I feel like it was after their trial. I don't know if it was right when he was arrested. I thought it was after.
Oh no, I
like
thought it
when there
was. I thought it was after he was already in prison for a while.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
it
thought it was in
was.
prison when like it was a parole hearing or something.
Yeah.
Which why
That's what I thought.
somebody who murdered 11 people would get a parole, but
We don't need to talk about it. Oh, okay. So I believe they were both sentenced to death.
yes,
Willie died in 1986 from liver disease,
cirrhosis of the liver.
cirrhosis of the liver.
Yep.
And Douglas Gretzler, he fought his execution for 20 years before he was finally put to death in 1998.
Yep.
So
And I did note that I did a Google search on them, and I found that there is a film called "The Greatest Murder Story Never Told." And
first of all, I hate that title. Let's not glorify it, please.
I know it was about them. Apparently it's only on VHS. It's not streaming or anything. And
Can we
I
not
did find
glorify these things,
Yeah.
please? Like,
well, and the thing is, somebody involved in the film, and maybe it was just somebody who was interviewed, but when I was looking at the credits, their name was, oh no, I forgot it. But but when I also
a lot
saw,
of build up for a
I know.
letdown.
Yes, it
but-
was.
so
like
there's
sex.
also a book about them called Where Sadness Breathes, and
Mm.
it's
Okay,
written by the nephew of one of the
Oh.
victims, and that person was in the movie. That's what I was trying
Oh.
to connect.
Okay.
Is that person was in the movie, and then they wrote a book about it.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'll put the links to the IMDb and the Amazon
Okay.
link to the book if anybody wants to read it.
Okay.
And I
Yeah.
was trying to find some more notable like serial killers that were in this prison, but I couldn't find any.
Okay.
And excuse me, I was looking up just some pictures of them, or like the stories, and I couldn't. There, if you look at their pictures, Willie Steelman and whatever his name is, Gretzler,
Douglas Gretzler.
holy moly, like to your bones. Like they showed one brief picture of Willie, I believe, because Cindy did connect to Willie,
Mhm.
and she was
Holy shit.
right.
Yeah, I found some pictures too. I'll put them up on socials.
Holy shit. Oh my
'Cause
god.
After we see the sketch, I wanted to see like, because there was a
Mhm.
hat, there was like the
Mhm.
conductor type hat. So I was like,
Mhm.
oh, is there a picture with him in a hat out there anywhere? But potentially had that from being in prison, because I think
Yeah.
in some of those they had the hats and
Yeah.
the garb. So now that I think about it, that's what it
Shawshank
looked like.
Redemption. I know what goes on.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's like no, do not Google that at night, because it is it's terrifying.
Terrifying.
I would not have wanted to be in a room with that man.
Yeah.
No.
Even if he was chained up, like I could feel evil coming from the picture. Like I can't imagine what it would have been like being next to him.
Yeah.
The fact that Cindy like connected and was like Willie something or another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But then when she didn't say the name, but then Steve was like, oh yeah, his name was Willie, and she's like, shut up. Really?
Yeah.
It was just, like a truly just a clear connection moment there.
Yeah.
Like she hadn't actually heard that before.
And then Steve's like, I told you she was good.
Told you she was good.
We get it, Steve.
Is he going into
nobody's-
such an old man now?
I know. I told you. Listen to it. I tell you she was good. Calm down, Steve. We get it.
Rodney Dangerfield now?
Hey.
Get no respect.
You no respect. No respect at all.
Oh,
This is what happens when we record Friday night after work.
Friday nights. Oh.
We don't even have drinks. It looks like Amy has a drink.
I do. It's from Vikra up in Duluth.
Oh.
It is a rhubarb orange spritz.
Oh.
Rhubarb orange hibiscus spritz. So it's a little wine spritzer with some gin that they
Oh.
make.
That sounds good.
I don't. That's how I like my gin. Just kidding. I don't like gin. It tastes like pine trees.
Well, not when you mix it
Some
with things.
does. Some does. We got some really good gin from Scotland,
Mhm.
actually.
Ah,
And not we didn't go to Scotland to get it. That's next week. But we went to this fun little liquor store in South Minneapolis, and we found this Scottish gin. I can't remember what it's called. Porters, something like that.
Okay.
And it's really good. It's really smooth. It doesn't taste like pine trees at all.
That's good.
I
Really
love
yummy.
gin, but gin is made from juniper berries, or it is made with something that is going to give it a pine taste. But that's where tonic enhances like the floral notes of it, the botanicals. So
This one's much more floral, and it was really good with tonic. It would have been probably good with soda too.
Yep.
Just a little lemon. It's
Yes.
delicious.
Okay.
Yes.
So do we want to talk about the next really sad case?
No, but we should.
I
don't
know.
want to.
I'm talking about Robert Henry Mormon.
Mormon.
Yeah, there was.
This is where most of our trigger warnings come.
Yes.
So if you
lot
don't
of
want to
stuff.
talk about or hear about it, then I would definitely skip. Amy
Yes.
did the most research. AP, do you want to say what
Yeah.
most of the trigger warnings are for
we're
people
gonna
if they want to
have
skip?
Yep. Murder, possible torture, sexual assault of a child, abuse of a child,
Dismemberment.
dismemberment. Yes, all
So
lots of
Yeah.
stuff that happened, and there was so much left out of the episode, and I'm kind of pissed off about that because
Really?
I feel like it colored the story wrong. I mean, it was still a tragic story and an awful, awful things that happened. But I even questioned as I was watching him, like, was there something wrong with him? You know, being everything that they were saying, and they never addressed the mental health issue.
Yep.
well, I mean, in their defense, though, this was what in the 70s.
But
I mean,
I'm
mental
talking
health
about
wasn't.
but I'm talking about what was covered by Steve and the retired special agent.
Oh, okay. Because they didn't deal with mental health. Most people
They-
don't deal with it now.
They didn't, right. I'm just saying in the episode itself, we didn't get a lot of information. We just got that he was a horrible person and he
Yep.
did bad things.
Mhm.
We didn't get what his mother did to him.
Yeah.
Right. And I wondered that too, because I was thinking if she's this spirit that's so mean and nasty in the house,
Why
now,
is she so mean and
why is
nasty if
she
she was
like
such
that?
an angel in life?
Right. And I was like, I
Exactly.
don't think she was an angel in life.
Are we
So-
talking about his adoptive mom?
Yes. I was wondering if the adoptive mom and the bio mom's spirits were mingled somehow because of the
Oh.
different things until I read the articles
Mm.
about his life. So Robert Henry Mormon so we're talking to Mark Williams, who's a retired special agent, gives great information. However, part of the problem, calling his mother a prostitute versus
Mhm.
calling her a sex worker.
2023.
Yep.
Let's get with the right words.
Yep. And she was 15. How
Yep.
old was the
Mhm.
father again? Like, I just blacked out
Like
after hearing that.
16
they
or
even say?
17.
Oh, I didn't even catch them saying
Yeah.
his age.
I thought he was
They just said he disappeared. Like he
yeah.
wasn't really around.
but nonetheless, 15-year-old sex worker mother,
Mhm.
obviously,
At 15? At
Mhm.
obviously
15.
had other things going on in
Mhm.
her life that didn't
Mhm.
make for good decisions. And
Mhm.
then when he was 2 years old, she killed in a car accident.
He was killed in a car accident. I think he was two and a
So-
half or two something.
Well,
oh, no, two.
was
Because
two.
he was adopted when he was two
At
and a
two
half.
and a
So
half, yeah.
I saw something that he was adopted at 2.5, but then I saw other things that said he was in 6 foster homes before the age of 5.
Really? So
And I dropped those into the links
Mhm.
for you. So,
okay.
I mean, obviously still could have been bounced around, but
Mhm.
then there was a lot of, I didn't read all the articles because it just honestly made me sick. But there was,
This
so
is
the-
why I
the
don't
woman-
do child stuff anymore.
the
'cause
woman
it's
who
just-
adopted him and her husband, Roberta Maud Mormon. We just hear her called Maud Mormon the
Mhm.
entire time.
Well, it may be because his name was Robert and that would have been too confusing.
Well, and I think she went by Maud because
Mhm.
that's what it was in the headline of the story.
Mhm. Yeah.
However, it appears that he was abused as a child, sexually abused as well. When his adoptive father died, there is information that possibly adoptive mother substituted him for the father.
Oh my God.
Yep. So, which, one psychologist or psychiatrist was, of course, for the defense, said that he had the mental capacity or stability of a child.
Mhm.
So being 23, kidnapping an 8-year-old, making that 8-year-old do things to
To
him.
him.
Mhm.
Yep. And, that sort of stuff, like that's, right away, it's like there's something off. And then when we hear he got 9 years to life, which I'm like,
I know. I'm like,
with
that's
what
a
he did,
gap.
that's a weird
I thought
thing.
that was really weird.
And then they said that he was in like low security.
Yes.
Now again,
yeah, why would he be?
If we had known more of the background, we might understand why he was put in low security and
Mhm.
provided
Mhm.
these chances to leave the
Mhm.
facility.
And I just want to make it clear
for
that
72
we're not
hours.
like condoning him or defending him or anything at all. We all agree he's a piece of shit, but we're
Yes.
just saying Amy's just saying that there's more to the story that they left out.
Yes.
So we're just doing that. We're not
Yes.
defending him at all. He's a
No.
piece of shit.
Right.
Hope he's in hell. But there's more to his backstory that they didn't cover.
Yes.
So to get all the information you need to make a decision, you need all the information.
Yes.
Right.
And agree with all of that because what if he had been in a family that actually was loving and caring?
Right.
Would he
Mhm.
have gone down this path?
And we don't know. And that's the
And we
whole
don't
nature
know.
versus nurture thing,
never
you
know.
know?
Yeah.
And well, and then that's where, when they were like this horrific murder of his mother, and it's like, okay, if she was so loving and took him out for 3 days, mind you, it was a 72-hour leave.
Mhm.
Checked him out of the jail is what they called it. She checked him
Yeah,
out.
she came
Was
down
that
and checked him out.
compassionate?
And then they
Hello.
went to the motel across the
Mhm.
street, which I found weird. But knowing this, that
Mhm.
makes more sense now.
It
If she was
feels-
doing that, then of course she
Yes.
would check him out to do that to
and
him.
which, by the
Mhm.
way, I'm sure the motel that they mentioned by name and then showed a shot of was really appreciative of this.
I'm sure.
Right.
Especially because Steve was like, I just left that hotel a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
But yeah,
Great.
again,
Write that in my diary.
calling out that it was at a motel, like
Mhm.
all of it's awful, all of
Yeah.
it's horrendous, and it does, like, if you think like see all the pieces put in place now you can follow the breadcrumb trails to
Mhm.
where possible things happened.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
he did,
And it makes more sense. Yeah. Because as soon as they said the motel, I'm like, that's weird. Like, I would not go with my son to a
Mhm.
motel.
well, and then the next part of this too, okay, this is going to get graphic, so if you want to skip ahead, I would skip ahead.
Can I
Where
skip ahead?
No,
Beep, beep,
but
beep.
where they talk about that he went to all these different places to throw out rancid meat from their
Yeah.
doors,
Mhm.
which now, again, if you were adults at full capacity, wouldn't you have just run away?
Yeah. Or
Versus
left
he
it
was
in
going
the hotel or
left it in the hotel and
thrown it in
gone.
their garbage.
And
But to be fair, he might have done that so it would be harder for them to identify her.
right,
Because if you only find a
Yeah.
torso, it's harder to identify a torso
right.
than it is to have, fingerprints.
But at the same point, you potentially have 2 days on anybody catching you.
Yeah.
Right. So just different thought processes.
Mhm.
So that was just coming to my mind of like, oh, I got to cover my tracks.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't know. It just one of those things that kind of stood out to me there too. But yes, we're still not done there with a graphic. He
Yay.
they called dissecting his mom.
Dissected her.
And I did not like that because
No,
It's a weird
brain,
way to
when you
say that.
dissect something, you're
Yeah.
cutting it open and you're learning from it. You're like rooting around and they're like, oh, here's the liver and here's the heart and this is the intestines. And I mean,
maybe he did that,
but if he
Right.
had the mental capacity that they say he did,
right.
I don't think he would have done that.
yeah.
I think
he meant dismember.
Dismember.
think so, too.
Somebody would have caught that and
I
had to re-say it.
know.
unless they were really just trying to like, it's again already all awful. Still not condoning any of it.
No.
I always feel like we got to like overcompensate on that sort of stuff, but
Mhm,
just
mhm.
I want to know the reasons behind things, which
Yeah.
I'll never know the reasons behind things. But there was so much left out of this story,
Yeah.
which really ticked me off about it because I think that it leaves you the wrong impression towards the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one thing I saw that was really funny to me, not funny, but stupid, was when they're talking about Robert's past, they say that his first day in a mental hospital was when he was 13
Mm-hmm.
and when he accidentally shot his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Steve goes, was she dead? And I said, yes, Steve, she died. And then he
And then
also
came back
killed
to
her
life.
again
Yeah.
when he was an adult.
5
and on
years
furlough
later.
from prison. Yep.
Then-
You're so
then,
right. 10 years
Megan, you-
later, she came back.
Great point that you're bringing up, though, because if maybe he wasn't an accident, maybe she was
Mhm.
attacking him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, we have no idea to know. She was 74 when she passed, so she would have been in her 40s when she adopted him.
Right.
No, 50s.
50s, because he was 23,
40s or 50s.
right?
He was 23,
but we don't know how long.
That means
we don't know how long it was that he was in prison before she.
But that means
came
at
to visit him.
13, she would have been She would have been 64, because I think he said that was 10 years prior.
But we don't know when he was actually taken out of prison to
Right,
visit with his mom.
Oh, that's true.
He
that's true.
went into prison at 23.
We don't know that.
Got
we
it.
don't have the.
Oh,
I thought it was
1984 is when
1970
January 12th, 1984 is when she
when he
checked
killed
him
his
out.
mom. Yeah.
And they went to the
he
Blue
would have
Mist
been
Motel.
25, somewhere in the
Okay.
25 to 26 range, because it was 72 when he kidnapped the girl at 23 years old.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So he was only in for a couple of years before
Yep.
he
Right.
got out on this furlough.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
All right. Thanks for taking that journey with us, guys.
Thanks. Thanks,
Or
Amy, for
Guys,
bringing
gals,
us
and babies.
others.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, Amy, for bringing us on that delightful fun romp.
I
on
know,
this
I just-
Friday afternoon. I love it.
It was just one of those things that there was just a lot left out that was
Yeah,
up
I
for,
know.
because you're definitely
It
swayed
did
one
add
way.
to the story for sure. It definitely was information I think that we needed, but maybe they felt
Yes.
they had to cut it.
Yeah, they cut so much, and they probably just wanted to say, "Hey, there was this bad guy, and now he's a
Mhm.
ghost in this house."
Mm-hmm.
And leave
show
it at
why
that.
he was bad.
But he's not. The mom is.
Yeah,
And that's
Oh no, he's not, because Willie is.
You're right.
Willie's
It's
the-
Willie
yes.
is the ghost.
So
Yeah, you're
Robert's
right.
not even here.
no,
Yeah.
it was the mother.
Maybe
but
that's why
where
they
I
didn't
got.
go into it.
That's why I got confused, because I'm like, well, what Cindy's connecting to is not connecting to this image of the mom that we've been presented.
Right.
So that's why I got really
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? I got to figure this out. And Wesley is whining. I might need to go let them out of their kennels.
Okay. We waited for you to hear my funny remarks. Because
Sorry about that.
No, that's
That's
okay.
all right.
So I know we passed some of this already because my notes were at the bottom and I thought I'd remember them, but I didn't. So when they talk about, when Shanna talks about how she's always drowsy all the time.
Mhm.
He's like, is there any medication or anything? Are
You
there
boozing?
animals in the attic that will keep you up? And she goes,
Yep, I
No.
leave my children there.
yeah, yep. I put the kids up there when they're pissing me off. And she's like, I just get drained. And then that's when I said, well, my cell phone battery goes dead super fast lately. So the only explanation is it's paranormal.
Yeah, the
I love
only.
that. And then every time he asks somebody to push him or show him how
Yeah.
hard something is, he always is so
Whoa.
shocked. I'm like, Steve, you ask them to do that. Like,
Yeah.
don't be surprised.
Can I say that's getting a little tired too?
It is getting a little tired.
Whoa. No, that's something strong.
Here, put your
Steve.
hands on me and show me what it felt like.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. Okay, another one. This is the last one. I'm sorry. I had these. This is my favorite one, and I want to get
I
it
love
out
it.
there. So when they're talking to Aiden, and he's like, I have nausea and bad headaches, and I'm not taking medication. And Steve goes, I don't remember what he was saying, but it led up to it, and he goes, you fronting me?
Yeah.
And I go, Steve. I was like, Steve, you're so hip.
It was when those two kids were talking to him, and he was like, you guys are talking about all this stuff, but you don't
That's
seem
right.
fazed by it at all.
That's
yeah.
right.
Fronting me.
You fronting me?
And
Oh
that's
yeah,
when they were
Steven?
like,
that's when they responded. Yep.
and they were like, no, we've seen this
Yes.
stuff all our lives.
Okay. I
Yeah.
was just like, I just had to say that because I'm
Yeah.
like, Steven. All right,
That was
we're done.
funny. You fronting me?
You
Yeah.
fronting me?
Hi,
Hey,
I'm Kristen,
and I'm Jennifer.
and we're the hosts of Haunted or Hoax, a paranormal investigation podcast where we investigate the legends, not the ghosts.
Our locations range from houses down in Savannah, Georgia, but
Right.
like how
That's-
many bodies is too many bodies,
Probably
Are you putting a number on it?
farmsteads up in rural New York. He just runs out into the lake and drowns himself, a la Virginia Woolf.
To hotels in West Virginia.
And then the next morning, he told the front desk how noisy the people in 409 were, and the staff said he was the only one on that floor.
But
that
what
night.
if he really wasn't? Like, what if they were just messing with him?
Right.
Like, oh, it's Adam. Let's
Right.
fuck with him a little bit.
Plus, once a month, we get together and go on a ghost tour and bring the legends and history to you.
And having candy thrown off the shelves towards you sounds more like a teenager than a small child.
Yeah, because a small child would just stuff it right into their ghostly cheeks and run away.
Little
That's what
ghostly
I would do.
cheeks. Join us every Tuesday as we discuss the legends, history, and experiences from haunted locations.
Available wherever you listen to podcasts.
Bye.
We do have geologists, and I think that's a new one. I don't think we've had geologists.
I think you're right. Yeah.
We might have in some older episodes because he has done stuff where we're calling in some specialists
Okay.
but I can't say if any geologists for sure,
Right.
but
I really did
my
like that
science
they came
nerdy
in.
self was like, yay.
And the reason he brought them in was to make sure that the heavy metals in the dirt, oh my God, it was all dirt, could not be causing these hallucinations.
Mhm.
So that's why
Which
we
is
have
like, is it
geologists.
truly
It's good,
great call
yes.
out because
Yeah.
arsenic and mercury, they have said, unfortunately, we don't know which one was which. They were just addressed at the same time.
Mhm.
Yes.
But our
the men, yeah.
geologists, were Greg Dozer and Warner Vaughn, which
Yeah.
what a sweet name.
I love
know.
that.
That is such a
That's
cool
like-
name.
You
It sounds
should
like an
be
old
like,
movie star.
Yes.
Like, hello, I'm Warner Vaughn. Don't
Mhm.
fuck with me.
But yeah, for them to do all the testing. And I do like that one of them said, because Steve's like, well, when are we going to get the results? And they're
Mhm.
like, well, we talked with the lab and asked to get this done in a 24-hour cycle.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Because the testing, there's lots of different steps that you go through for types of testing. That's why they were taking so many soil samples and checking levels of different
Yep.
things.
Yep.
So
Yeah. And probably normally a test would take a lot longer, but
Yes.
Yeah.
I got the impression he was kind of saying like, I worked this out. I pulled some strings,
Yes.
kind of a
Yeah.
thing.
yeah, I'm guessing that on a normal, like if you were to have them come into your house and do all this
Mhm.
testing, it could be 2 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But you would think that if something like that was dangerous, they'd want to expedite it like as quickly as possible. You don't want to have somebody living in a house with arsenic and mercury.
Well, you can do like initial tests of water. So like because if you're ingesting the water and there's
Mhm.
issues in it, so, you can do some initial testing. You might have they probably took samples to do further testing on that, but
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
that would be my guess. But hey, if there's any geologists out there that do it,
Let us know.
Yeah.
Correct us.
because I love rock stuff. I think it's cool.
I love rock and roll. Except just the rock and not the roll. Okay.
This is a gem.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the sketch, Cindy knows how to switch things up every
Yes,
once in
she
a while.
does. Yes,
she
she
says
does.
that's definitely what I saw.
Did
Yes,
you
sis.
see that the person, the artist, had like an electronic eraser?
Yes.
Oh my God, that was so cool.
I did notice it was kind of a weird like pen kind of thing. And it
Yeah.
said match something eraser on it. Yeah.
And then she brought, oh my God.
Yeah,
thought
I
this
just saw
was-
the brush on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
so-
the
the-
art was great on
Yes.
this one.
oh my
The
God, it
pictures
was
were
phenomenal.
wonderful.
It was so, the jumping one, that was good.
Yeah. 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 That was really cool.
Yeah.
And then at the reveal, when Steve is explaining stuff and he says, and all hell broke loose. Like, is that like, that's another one of those.
Yeah.
In rotation.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you know,
Phrases.
maybe take some like words, like key phrases, and do like a synonym search and just
Yeah.
like see
Yeah.
what else is out there.
Not a cinnamon search though.
Not
No.
a synonym search like grammar used to make.
I want that t-shirt so
I want
badly.
it so bad. Did I text? I texted
Synonym
you
rolls.
the shirt that I got,
Yeah.
right? That said humorous.
Yeah.
Yes.
I found this humorous. Oh my God, I laughed so hard. John,
It's a
didn't find
ghost
it.
holding a bone, you guys.
And it says, I found this humorous.
Yeah.
Because it's like the humor.
and if
of
you
a- Oh.
don't know what that means, well,
we just taught you. Because
go
a humor
to
is a-
anatomy class.
is a bone.
Do you know
okay.
which bone it is, Megan?
it's a bone.
I think it's a leg bone
No,
or an arm bone.
It's
one
an
of
arm
these.
bone.
It's an arm bone.
it's not
this
what.
one.
Nope,
No,
nope.
Yep.
It's this
it's not
one.
one of these two.
No,
It
no,
is.
that's humerus, and then this is your radius and ulna.
Oh yes, radius and ulna.
Let's agree to disagree on that.
Well, a simple Google search would solve
No.
that. But I think Amy's right because I remember the radius. And
I
the
know
ulnar
I'm
next to
right
each other.
because I have a biology degree and I had to take anatomy and physiology.
We'll agree to disagree. It's fine.
And my
We
mom's a
don't have to agree
nurse.
on everything, and we'll still be friends.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
And I
about
broke
being
my
friends.
radius.
The good thing about being friends is you can have differences of opinions.
Not with this actual fact.
Do you see Republicans? Do you see what you sound like? Just kidding. I'm kidding. Cut that out.
No, that's gold.
All of our Republicans are like, we aren't listening. Just kidding. We don't have any
That's
Republican
okay. We don't have any.
listeners.
No.
I don't want any. Okay. So now we're in the reveal.
Oh, yeah.
Starts
I wanna-
talking about the. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Cindy talks about the elemental that's up in the attic. And she said that it's from the earth and it was never human. She thinks that it's connected to the land and describes the things that they can do. And it's like exactly the things that they've experienced.
Yeah.
She did connect it to the minerals in the soil at one point. I don't know. I don't think it was in the reveal. I think it was earlier on, but it was sometime around when the geologists were being talked to. And it was like, it's drawn by the minerals or something like that. I'm like,
Yeah, she was going up
there
the
you go.
stairs to the attic when she was talking about that.
Yep.
And she was
And
saying there's like a
also-
force, like it's messing with the force field.
Mhm.
Like, why do we have to do all the walks at night? I don't understand. I partially for drama, but like, if I was Cindy, I would not want to go up to the attic at night.
Well, she had Matt with her. And
Yeah,
by the way,
she's a brave girl.
Matt does, at least they're showing more. He's always asked great questions, but it's
Mhm.
definitely like, the really having to pull out the descriptions. And,
Mhm.
it's kind of like, talk to me like I'm a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
What is this going on? What is this
Yep.
going on? So
Yeah.
he's probably a great interviewer.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure he is.
Yeah.
And he also does a
he's-
really good job of not adding inflection to his voice when he's
Yes.
asking Cindy or previously Amy
Mhm.
questions. He doesn't lead them
Right.
onto
Mhm.
It's
a
very
direction of the
monotone.
question. Yes.
And what do you think they mean by that? And what would the living feel?
Mhm.
It's very much neutral.
Mhm. Yeah. Matt's great.
That's great. I love you, Matt.
Did you see that? I know I sent it to you guys,
No.
but on Cindy Kaye's page, she was talking about this episode, and she said something like, it was great to do this show and meet these people with Steve and Matt. And I commented and I said, I love that you always acknowledge Matt
Mhm.
because he gets left in the dust sometimes, you know?
Mhm.
And she liked my comment. So we are best friends now.
Basically,
Yeah. Basically.
don't forget
Yeah.
about us. But yeah, you're
Yeah.
basically BFFs. Like,
Yeah.
are you gonna go get matching tattoos, or is that
Maybe.
scheduled? Or
I'll see what she wants to do.
yeah, get a big stogie.
Yeah.
Sounds like a terrible tattoo idea.
It does sound terrible.
I mean, if you have one, I'm sorry. Not my cup of tea.
Tattoo of a stogie. I'm thinking about getting a tattoo in Scotland if I can get in
You should.
to anywhere. I've looked up some tattoo places. I want to get a shaggy coo on my
Oh,
arm.
cute. Oh, coot.
Oh, cool.
Get it?
Yeah,
it?
get
That's
it.
called cute. I
Get it.
play on words.
There are birds called coots, by the way.
Cooties.
COOT.
Well, these are just COO, but
Mhm.
They're the cutest. And the little miniature cows.
the
you
miniature
guys,
babies, I know.
I
They're
need
adorable.
one. They are the cutest in the whole world.
I know.
And I want one, and I will love him. And he will be my squishy.
You
Yeah.
guys better behave over there.
All right.
Simmer down now.
Simmer down now.
I have a feeling something's going to be destroyed when I go back over there.
Oh, no.
Probably.
Actually,
So
I think-
next,
Sorry.
that's okay. So after we talk about the elemental, then we have the dead woman who's very active and she mimics, and I fucking hate mimicking. I hate
Mhm.
mimicking.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
the
so
worst.
So John hears what he thinks is Shanna's voice, and it's not her.
And he goes out to investigate and like see where she is, and
Mhm.
she's nowhere near
Mhm.
where like the sound of her voice was coming
Mhm.
from.
Mhm.
I hate mimicking. It is the
Yeah,
creepiest
it's creepy.
thing.
It's really creepy.
Well, and then like now that we know more of the story, it's like, was she like that in life? Was she, or, like not necessarily mimicky, but was she's mockery to others in life? And so she was like, oh, John,
Come help
trying
me,
to
John.
to pick a fight because as Cindy went on about her, and this is where some of the reproductive talk was about like miscarriages, loss of a son, but we don't know anything that happened.
No.
But with her before she adopted.
Yeah, they just said
Robert.
that they weren't
just said they
able to have
adopted.
children.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't know if she, had
a
any
miscarriage,
a
I would assume
stillborn,
so.
Something
Probably.
in that area. But then there was some things that Cindy was saying, like something about like along the lines of not being loved, doesn't have anyone around her, nobody cares for her, and that
she felt
sort of
abandoned.
stuff. Which is why I kept thinking, like, is this actually the bio mom who was a 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old sex worker?
Yeah.
Because to me, that seems like an abandoned child who then has a lot to take care of all of a sudden, and then had the loss of her child potentially before she died because somebody maybe took him away, and maybe that's why he was in foster care so often. Or
yeah, it's hard to know without knowing the whole story. It's hard to guess on that.
Yep. But yeah, she was the dead woman being, she likes to make people feel crazy. She likes to watch them. She likes to move things on them. Like she likes to
watches
just
them
make
in the shower.
Creepy.
She likes people to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what made me think she must not have been A-okay in real life.
Yeah. And then our other favorite ghost spirit that is there is the angry, aggressive male who we've already acknowledged is Willie.
Willie.
That's the name that Cindy gets. She basically tells Steve to shut up when he's like, and there's this Willie. And yeah, just like that he is wanting to take over. He wants to take over a living body so he can continue to do the crimes that he did when he was alive. And at one point she talked about, was it with Willie or was it with the other one that, it was the woman. The woman wants to make them feel like they need to do drugs. She had mentioned that at some point, which then again, that's why I was like, is this the other mom?
The other mom, yeah.
Right. The bio mom, yeah. They say Willie gets in bed with them. Gross.
Yes.
I don't like it.
No, I don't like that at all.
The second sketch was of him holding her down, and
yeah, that was the first one.
Oh yeah, that was the first one. And
choking her from his perspective. So you just see his hand. Oh my God. But yeah, the art was so amazing.
It was really good.
She was so good.
Yeah. And then the second picture, when they saw it, Shanna and John were like, that's Aiden. That looked exactly like Aiden. And it had the taller,
the build, the hair,
yep. And Cindy said, I feel like he's trying to attach to a 13 or 14-year-old boy. He's 16, his sister's 13, but they were all living in the same room.
And if she does have abilities too, then he could be trying to attach to both of them.
Yes.
Yeah. So not great.
I felt so bad for that kid.
I know, I did too.
It only gets worse, it sounds like, after the
show
ends.
Yeah, so then Cindy did a spirit guide drawing for Aiden and said that he should keep it with him and put it up on the wall in the room.
Yep. And he can talk to it and ask it for protection when he's afraid or worried. Yep. I like that.
Yep. Yeah. That spirit is there to protect him right now, is what she said. So that gives you that feeling of like, there's different spirit guides that come into your life, and some stay with you the whole time, and some are there for that
period
for a little bit of time.
Need.
Yeah. So that is the end of that. And then it says 5 weeks later.
Yes.
And it's a video recap with Shanna and John, and they say thank you and that
Can you wait until we're done recording before you start smoking, please?
Well, before as Amy's getting herself together, Cindy suggested that they get a male medium to help move the woman on, and then she goes, and to move Willie on. Well, we know serial killers have mommy issues.
I know. I
Yeah.
laughed at that too. And I was like,
It's like,
you're not wrong, Cindy.
nope, you're
Yeah.
not wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to our other case, also
yeah.
mommy issues,
Right.
which, by the way, side note, I did read that before Robert died, he apologized again to his family, the family of the girl he kidnapped, hoped that they were able to move on in their life and hoped that they had a good life. And those were some of his last words before he passed.
Did he kill her or
No.
did he just
No.
kidnap her?
He kidnapped her. His car broke down,
Okay.
sexually assaulted her, basically.
I know.
His car broke down and then he turned himself in. So that's,
Okay.
again, all those different things that tie together. So sorry, this jumped around, but I
Yeah.
just remembered that was one thing that I saw. He was executed in 2012.
Good.
Okay.
Bye.
And it was not an easy one.
Good.
Oh, really?
They
Good.
had just switched from, it was a lethal injection. They switched from the 3 to the 2 because they
Mhm.
realized one of the 3 was expired. So they were switching over. And yeah, they said it was not an easy one.
Well, I'm sorry, but
There's
good.
got to be.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't.
No.
That's an awful, 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 awful way to go. Yeah.
Mm.
I'd rather no. I don't.
It took over 10 minutes, or it took about 10 minutes
Oh,
from
God.
injection to death.
Okay, that's kind of bad. Was he awake the whole time?
They said that most people do go to sleep and he did not. His eyes were open the whole time.
Okay.
So
They also said that in the follow-up that the guy left with the family that moved on. What?
I know that
I
was
don't
such
know
a
what
weird.
family.
That was so. She's talking about. I'm sure
Mary
she's talking
and
about her
Chloe
cousin Mary and the
and
2
Aiden.
kids.
Oh,
But
so
why
like,
did she say
he's-
with the family that moved out as
Yeah.
opposed to
That's
my
why-
cousin?
Yeah.
That's why I asked him, like, was she not a part of this, or was she a part of this,
Yeah.
or like, because it just seemed really weird. Their end video just seemed
It was weird.
It was weird.
it did seem weird because
I wonder
like,
if they had a
things
falling
are-
out or something.
That's
Maybe.
the feeling I got, and
It rarely ends well when you have family move in. I'm just gonna say that.
well,
Like,
and they were all living in one room.
One
but then we
room.
also,
Mhm.
which by the way, we also see later on that there's like some office rooms that they have in that house, and
Mhm.
you've got a mom and her. It looks like mom and daughter sleep in the one bed, and the son sleeps in the trundle bed.
Mhm.
yeah.
But nonetheless, we don't know what happened. We just get that the family moved out, and it seems like Willie went with them, which sucks because
That's awful. Poor
sucks.
Aiden.
Which if
Because he's just gonna keep trying to jump him.
Mhm.
until
It doesn't
something
matter
goes
where he
on,
goes.
he's not connected to the house. Obviously, he's connected
No.
to the kid,
Yeah.
and then we just get. Well, we're still looking for a medium to deal with her, but things have gotten better and it's more positive now, which is a good thing. But it wasn't even like smiling.
Right.
Mm.
Yeah. It was almost
Yeah.
like they were told to say that, but it wasn't true.
Yeah.
So that's
It was
the end
odd.
of that episode.
It was
Yeah.
odd. For sure.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Okay.
Yes.
All
So
right. Well,
should we wrap
thanks-
this one up?
yeah.
and-
Yep.
Okay.
thanks for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it.
Yep. Yep.
Amy,
Yeah.
AP, do you want to tell us what we
Yeah.
are listening to or covering next week?
Next week, we will be talking about the Dead Files new episode, which is season 15, episode 11, called Burning Hatred. I love how they're coming up with these names.
I know.
Someone's did a great job.
Yeah.
Paula's childhood home always gave her an unsettling feeling, but it never reached the point where she got too concerned for anyone's safety. However, things have taken a dangerous turn since she moved away. Terrified for her parents' lives, Paula begs Cindy and Steve for help.
Paula calls Cindy and Steve for help, calls out to them for help.
Hello.
Hello.
The ring is ringing.
Steve.
Yeah.
Cindy. That's my echo.
Oh,
That's,
Nice.
that's what that was.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll be a good one.
so join us then.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us this time, and we'll see you soon.
See you
thanks.
later.
Bye.
Bye.
Later.
Thank Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a suggestion for which episode of the Dead Files we should cover next, or if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media, and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.